One thing I've learned after a couple months of teaching people to turn their neighborhoods into communities is that my story is not unique. It was about 8 years ago that we moved into the neighborhood we currently live in. I didn't know anybody. We moved here because we wanted our 1-year-old to be near his family, free babysitting. I think that's a very common story. We didn't know anybody here. We didn't have community. We didn't go to church or anything. We didn't have any sort of support network around us. And I very quickly found myself incredibly lonely. I played ice hockey, and so I sort of made friends that way, but I'm not really a drinker. So the whole beer part of beer league I was kind of missing out on. The moment I realized that I really wanted a community of my own, we had some friends that we had met through our kids' school, and they had this group, and it was 6 or 7 families, and they all sort of did events together and did parties together, and everybody went out or they would do play date, and I was really jealous. Frankly, they clearly had something going on, and I really wanted to be part of something like that. Something just kind of hit me that I could have that. There's nothing stopping me. So I did the only thing I knew how to do, which is just talk to people. And so I went all out. 4th of July was coming up. I made a flyer called Summer of Games where I planned to do every single weekend. And it was pool party, and then an outdoor summer games night, and then a parents night, and all this stuff. And it was every single weekend in the summer after the 4th of July. I knew the 4th of July party was coming up, so I could talk to people then, but I knew I wasn't going to get everybody. So I just put my kids in a wagon, and I made a flyer that was I want us to live in a community. I want to be part of a community where we all know each other and our kids all hang out. And so I went and knocked on the doors. I sort of made in my mind what our neighborhood was, right? We've got 2 major streets on either end. We've got one sort of through street that goes, and then there's a creek on the backside that blocks everybody off. So it's okay, that's my neighborhood. I'm just gonna go knock on all these doors, and did it. And it was pretty embarrassing at first, but very quickly the energy that I got back from people by saying, hey, do you want to be my friend? I want to live in a community. Here's this invite. It was really great. There's a lot of people that were part of that cohort of their kids had moved out, and they were sort of older, and they were oh, this is so great that you're doing this. We used to do this. I'm not gonna come to any of this stuff, but if you ever do adult things, we'll definitely be part of it. Created a Facebook group for them to join, but almost nobody slammed the door in my face. A lot of people were okay, thanks. But then some people were really pumped about it. That was really exciting. It was sort of my first glimmer that this is actually going to work. I think it's about 175 doors is roughly the neighborhood. And then the 4th of July block party showed up, and I brought more flyers just for anybody that I had missed. And at the block party, everybody was so excited about this idea. Let's be a community, and let's build a neighborhood together. And that was it for me. The smallest little hint of, neighbor market fit. And I was pumped. Started hosting these events. Jonathan, who's a guy in the neighborhood, was really great. And by the end of the 4 weeks after 4th of July, he was I'm tired, Graham. This is a lot. You're asking a lot of us. I'm glad you did this, but can it not be every week? And he was right. It was way too much stuff, being way too ambitious and way too overzealous and way too excited. But I learned a lot. And a lot of the stuff that I tell people now about how to turn neighborhoods into communities is born out of that. I did a lot of stuff right, even though I did a lot of stuff wrong. So in the spring, after that first summer, I organized an annual planning party. I was hey, there's a lot of people that have cool stuff they want to do. Why don't we get together? Let's plan our year. Why not? And then we just sort of said, okay, who's hosting what? It was great. We got a lot of really good events. Somebody took on the pie baking party and the movie night. Somebody took on the rib cook-off. We had a parents only party. A lot of the people in the neighborhood started working on a play date because the kids were still really young. After that first planning party, it really started to feel okay, this is a community where everybody owns it. And from there, it really started to snowball. So yeah, it's been 6 years. It's the best. Turning your neighborhood into a community and having this incredible network of people that love and trust and sometimes hate each other is the best thing. And it's everything that I was missing 6 years ago when I started looking around to fill that hole in my heart. That's why I started making these videos, because I know that so many of you are missing that. I know that so many of you live in a neighborhood. Maybe you've just moved there. Maybe you've been there 5 years. Maybe you've been there 50 years. And you just wish that you had a better connection. And you look out and you see people driving by and you assume that they have these full, rich lives. And if you went and said, hey, do you want to be my friend? They would laugh at you and be who's this loser who doesn't have any friends? Well, that is wrong. Every single one of those people is desperately lonely, and they are desperate for you to come and knock on their door and ask you to be their friend. Doing this work is not fast. It is effort, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. I'm trying to build a community. I've got a community of 900 plus people that have already started doing this work around the world. There's about 100 people that are super active in a WhatsApp group that I have that are talking to each other and supporting each other when they go out to knock on doors, because you're gonna have to knock on your neighbor's the doors. I'm sorry to say. And I'm really excited to help. What I'm going to do here with these videos is help you understand my story, help you understand some other people's stories who are going through this, because not everybody looks like me, not everybody lives in neighborhoods like me. I'm going to do my best to highlight stories of other people who are doing this work in all kinds of places, who look all kinds of different ways and all kinds of different, socioeconomic backgrounds, so that you can, no matter who you are, you can see someone in this channel that looks like you, that's doing this work and that has improved their lives, so that you remove all excuses for you to do it. This is the thing. I found the thing that gets most people off their butt to go do this. You want to live in community. You want to have people that you know and trust, and that's something that is really important to you. There are people that are near you that are desperate for connection in a way that you can't even fathom. And you now know, sorry to do this to you, you now know the secret to helping that person. Loneliness is more deadly than smoking. And when you go knock on their door and you're friendly and you're vulnerable and you invite them into your world for no other reason than because they're a person and they live near you, you are going to change their life unequivocally. If one thing motivates us more than improving our own life, we are all motivated by improving the lives of others. And nothing is more disheartening than when you put in the effort to improve the lives of others and nothing happens. Something happens when you do this. Go out there, knock on those doors. These people around you need you, and you can do it, and I can help. I'm your friendly neighborhood human Labrador, and I am here to help. I have a whole 10-step system, again, 100% free, that I've taught 900 plus people of how to do this work and turn their neighborhoods into communities, and it works. It's really, really easy. Be friendly and vulnerable. Decide what your neighborhood is. Go knock on doors. Host events that don't cost you a whole lot and are held on neutral territory. Make friends with those people when you're at that event. Do that again. And then there's all kinds of other steps of how you can sort of grow it and make it more sustainable. But that's it. Just get out there and be part of the community. Help other people. Show the story of you turning your neighborhood into a community so other people can learn from you, because not everybody looks like me. So that's it. I spent a few years being desperately lonely, and then I spent a few years putting myself out there and being probably a bit of a pain in the ass some of my neighbors' sides, but mostly adding value to their lives. Even the most curmudgeonly among them, Jonathan Tom, would agree, and I wouldn't change it for the world.